Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Gardener. A lot of you tend to ask me what is another alternative to leaf propagation, because leaf propagation can take ages. It can take anywhere between 1.5 years up to 2 years as well. And a lot of people, they not only lose the patience, but they also tend to lose interest. Initially, you have the excitement to see the small little pup, but later on, because it tends to grow so slow, you tend to lose interest. So what is the next alternative? I would say this stem cutting is the best option. I usually tend to do that more frequently compared to leaf propagation. Now here, these three pots, I tend to call them as the herb pots, because if you might have seen, if you have grown herbs, you do not cut the entire plant. You just do a little bit of clippings or trimmings up, and then you leave the remaining in the pot. This is how I treat these guys. They tend to look a little haywire because these are only stems. I have recently done a stem cutting. As you can see, a lot of the stems are missing because I have cut them and I have added them to the pot you can see over here. So this is the pot wherein I had done the fresh cutting. They do not have roots yet, so they are kept in indirect bright light. That's why they do not have a lot of color. So this is how I tend to multiply my succulents. This was a very earlier one. It has more color, but it has got slightly burnt because of recently moving the succulents here and there because of the painting. But overall, you can see these are more brightly colored compared to the recent ones, because the recent ones I have just kept them in indirect bright light because they do not have roots yet. So both of these pots, they still have to get roots. I think it has been probably 1 to 2 weeks that I've done the cutting, so I'm not very sure. So yes, as you can see, there are no roots present, so I will have to wait and keep them in indirect bright light until they tend to put out any roots. So these are the pots. Even my Ionium as well, I do the same thing. You can see I had done a lot of cuttings, and these are all the new growth that you're seeing. So the every time you cut the stem, you will have new growth on the sides of the stem. The same thing goes with this pot as well. So I have been doing a lot of cuttings. There's nothing to be worried about that. With sedums, with graptosedums, with graptopetalums, it's much easy to do a stem cutting. Now, a lot of people tend to ask me, why does my sedum Adolphi tend to trail out of the pot? Now, guys, it is a variety of sedum. As and when the plant tends to get mature, it will trail. Now, why these are not trailing? Because these have been cut quite often. That's why they're not trailing out. But if you tend to leave your sedum Adolphi in a pot, over the period of time, it will start to trail out of the pot. That is how they tend to naturally grow. So what I'll be doing is I'll be going ahead and chopping quite a few of my succulents today, because I'm planning to make a small little arrangement. So this is how I tend to cut them off. So this one is slightly green because it has not got a lot of light, because it was bending out of the pot. So probably it didn't get a lot of light. So I have gone ahead and taken off the leaves from the lower portion. This will be kept for leaf propagation. And the reason why I did that is so that we can have a good mass of stem, and then we can put it into the soil. So what I'll do is I'll cut few more, and this is the remaining portion that is going to be left in the pot, and that will continue to grow. Even my graptosedum, you can see it is a little bit out of the pot, so I will give a trim to that one as well. And the remaining part is going to stay in the pot. It will start putting out pups. So right now what I'm going to do is I will do a couple of cuttings, and I'm going to keep it aside so that I can make a small little arrangement. This is a very good way to make arrangements if you want to give it to your friends or family. This is one of the best way you can do it. So I will be trimming some more of the sedum Adolphis from this box. Now there was another succulent in this. Initially I thought it is sedum Adolphi, but when I took a closer look at it, it definitely is not a sedum variety. I think it could be a graptosedum California Sunset, but I'm not very sure because it looks very different from our sedum Adolphi. So I will be adding this one as well in this arrangement. Now there are a couple of them that I want to cut, but I think I will do it later on because there are going to be a lot of them. I will also show you where exactly to cut whenever you have the new pups coming up on a stem, where exactly to cut. I will show you that as well. So what I'm going to do is I will cut another graptosedum ghosty from this, and I will search if I have any more that I need to cut. even this one as well, so that I can make a small little arrangement, because whenever you tend to do any cuttings like this, it is going to take around 2 to 3 days for the cuts to heal. Remember, both the cutting as well as the remaining portion that is there in the pot also has to callus, so you have to ensure that it do not come in contact with any water. So now what I'm going to do is I am not going to be putting them directly into the soil because they need to callus. So what I have done this, I have a pot and I have put some stones in it so that the succulents can stay anchored in it. So I will place all the succulents one by one and get back to you. So this is how it finally looks like. Now guys, as I said, I haven't added any soil in this because I am letting them callus. At the same time, they will get air root because there is a lot of place inside. It is only broken clay pots and there is no soil. So they will be able to air root as well. Now this is going to be a very good arrangement. I do not need to be worried. It looks very compact, but over the period of time, as and when they start to grow, these are graptosedums and sedums, so they do not grow horizontally, they tend to grow vertically. So whenever there is going to be new growth, they will start growing taller rather than spreading around. So that's a good thing. If it was echeverias, I wouldn't have put them in such a tight cluster, but because these are sedums and graptosedums, so I do not need to be worried. So as you can see, it is very simple to make arrangements like this, and you can definitely give it to your friends and family. Probably after they have completely calloused, you can give it to them. Don't give them when they are still in the process of callus, because they might end up adding some water or moisture to it, and that can lead to a rot. So this was the earlier one. In this pot, the roots are already present. So you can see with these cuttings itself, without paying any money, I was able to make an arrangement. So in this way, you can go ahead and increase your collection very super fast, and very soon the remaining stems that are there in the pot will also start putting out new pups. So guys, that's all about it. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep planting.